everyone. So this is the last part of our lecture on operators in Python. In this lecture we are going to discuss the membership operator and identity operator. So let's start with membership operator. Membership operator, what is the use of membership operator? Basically, membership operator is used to check whether a given value is a part of a collection or not. If you have to check that if a collection is there where multiple values are present, and if you have to check that a specific value is part of that collection or not, in that case membership operator is used. And if the value is present in the collection, the membership operator gives true as the result, otherwise gives false as the result. Now, what are the membership operator? In is the membership operator, and second one is not in. Basically, in is used to check whether a value is present, and not in is used to check whether a value is not present in a collection. Let's take the example of a string. We will use this membership operator on a string value, because string is nothing but a collection of characters, and whenever we have to check whether a text or a substring is present in a given string, then we use the membership operator. And even on many other collections which are part of Python, we will discuss them. All the non-primitive data types are collection, for example list, tuple, set, dictionary, and apart from string, this membership operator is also applicable on those collections. For time being, we have already discussed string, so we will be using this membership operator on a string value. Let's create a file. I will name the file as member. Now take a value. This is a sample text on which testing will be done. Now in this we are going to check for a particular text. So if we look onto this particular string, let me check for a particular value like on. So let's check val1 and take on. And now how to use the membership operator? Membership operator is used like the value which has to be checked in name of the collection in which the value has to be checked, like in this case is our string. So in this case we are asking that whether val1 is present in this string val or not. And what we will do, the result of this statement is to be printed. Let's run this program. Okay, member function. Now the result is true, and please remember membership is case sensitive. So if I am checking on in capital, this is going to return as false. If you check the value is same, only we have changed the case from lower to upper, and in this case this value is not found in the given text. And please check, it's not necessary that the value which you are checking should be a separate word. Like if I remove this on, you can check this on is also part of this done. And if I change this back into small case, and if I check this also, say look, this is giving us true, because this is not necessary that the value which we are checking need to be an independent word. It could be a part of a given text. Similarly, if you want to check AMP is part of sample. So if I want to check this AMP, let's check this, it's also giving true. And in the same case, if I am changing the case into capital, this time this is not going to give you the true result, because it's case sensitive. Membership or Python is case sensitive, so capital and small are treated differently. So this is the use of the membership operator. Even if you want to check for not availability, so instead of in, if you want to check whether a particular value is not part of a particular text or a string or any other collection, we can use, instead of in, we will use not in. In this case, what will happen? In this case, this particular not in will give you true when the val1 is not present in the given text. So in this case, AMP is not part of this text. So if I run this program, the answer should be true. Look, the answer is coming true, because in this case the value which we are using AMP, although AMP is part of this, as I said that the case sensitivity of the Python language is not making this value to be compared to this. if let's check some other value, say check such a value which is not entirely part of this, say Japan is not part of this text. So in this case, when I am saying this val1 is not in val, means we are checking for not availability, not present. So in this case, this if the value is not present, like Japan is not present, this not in should give us true. So let's run this and check, it's giving us true. But if I'll check for such a value which is present with not in, it will give you false, because that value is present. So if I take is, whether is part of this, so what will happen in this case, this is part because it's part of this as well as this. So is part, so not in will give us false, because we are checking that this value is not part of the string, whether the value given is part, is present. So this will give you false. So let's run the program, it's giving us false. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now let's move on to the next operator. The next operator is identity operator. Before discussing the identity operator, let's discuss the memory allocation of variables in Python, which we have already discussed in previous lectures. But why I am doing this? Because identity operator is somehow connected with the memory allocation. Now, if you say, if there is a variable a is equal to 10, how this allocation, this variable, when a variable is created, how the allocation is done, a memory will be allocated somewhere into a computer memory, and that 10 will be assigned to that location, and this variable will start referring this particular memory, and whenever we will refer this a, we will get this 10. Now if I want to check what is the memory address of the location where this 10 has been assigned, so we can use the id function, which we have already told that using id function we can check the address of any of the variable. So if I check this id a, this will give you the memory address where the particular variable has been reserved or allocated. Now if I allocate one more variable, say 20, same procedure, a memory will be allocated randomly somewhere in your computer's memory, and this b will start pointing this, and same way if you need to check what is the memory address of this location, you can use the id function with the b, and in the same way this id function will give you the address. Now what I want to discuss is, this is the story of memory allocation whenever we create a variable in Python. But what we are going to discuss is, Python is one of the language which is using the memory very efficiently. Now why I am saying that Python is using the memory very efficiently, because what does the Python language do? If I am creating a variable a is equal to 10, the allocation will be done, the value will be assigned, and a will start pointing that. And if in the same program, if I create one more variable and I assign the same value 10 to b, instead of reallocating a memory for the same value again and again, this b, because 10 has been already allocated somewhere in the memory, so what this Python will do, instead of wasting the memory, this b will also start pointing the same memory location where a is pointing. And to prove this, what you can do is just check the id of both a and b, and what you will find is both a and b are pointing to the same memory location. Why this is being implemented? Although it could have been done that separate memory could have been allocated, but just to save or to use the memory efficiently, Python uses this procedure, that if the value is common, it shares that particular value between multiple variables. And same is the case if I am taking a string variable, say abc, and I am creating a second variable b with the same value abc. This, in this case also, what will happen? Both a and b, abc will be allocated somewhere in the memory, and both a variable and b variable will point the same location. And this can also be checked same. This can also be checked using id function. You can check and find out. And we will see the example of all this. So why we are discussing all this? This identity operator is somehow connected with this mechanism. What is the use of identity operator? Now let's discuss what is identity operator. Identity operator is basically an operator which is used to check the equality of two variables based on their memory location. The identity operator says that two variables are equal if both are having same value as well as they both are present in the same memory location. We have already discussed this equality operator when we have discussed the comparison or relational operator. This case, what is the use of this equal to? If I say, when I say A equal to B, we are checking that value present on A and B are both same. But identity operator doesn't only check for equality of value, it also check whether the two given variables are pointing or present at the same location. If both the conditions are satisfied, that the values are also same as well as both the variables are pointing to the same memory location, then only identity operator gives us true. Now what is the identity operator? Is. Now if I say A is B, here we are checking the equality of A and B, that whether the value of A and B are equal, and at the same time whether they both A and B are pointing to the same memory location. If both the conditions are satisfied, then only the identity operator is going to give us true, otherwise this will give us false. Now what we are going to do? We are going to do the practical implementation of this identity operator and check. But before that, we will also discuss about other data types. Like this identity operator behaves differently with different data type. Like what I am trying to say is, the following data types are going to be checked with the identity operator. We are going to check integers, we are going to check booleans, we are going to check string, and we are going to check float. Now before checking that, let me discuss one more thing. The value to a variable could be assigned in two different ways. Either we can directly assign the value A is equal to 10 or B is equal to 10, and second method is we can even assign the value to a variable by using the input function. If you remember, we can use the input function like this, and we can write enter a number and we can use this. In both the cases, when you are assigning the value directly and when you are assigning the value through input statement, in case of an integer, what will happen? Let's check. Say, if I am assigning the value to a variable A directly and we are assigning the value to the variable B through input function, and say in this case also the value which you have given is 10. And if I compare them, in this case, the identity operator will give us true, because both the locations, both the variable A and B, their values are same, because here we have directly assigned 10 and here we have assigned the same value 10, but this time we have assigned through input function. But in this case, what will happen? Both the variable A and B will be pointing to the same location where 10 has been allocated or reserved. So in this case, both the value as well as location are same. And same is the case with boolean. If you are entering a boolean value either directly or through input function, in both the cases, both the values will be pointing to the same memory location. But what is the story with string and float? The story is different with string and float. Let's check this. If instead of 10, say we are entering 12.7, and through input we are entering a float, and the value which we are entering is same means 12.7. But this case, when we are using a float data type, and if we are assigning the value through input function, the memory address given to this and this will be different. Although if I have a third variable, say C is equal to 12.7, the direct values or the variables whom you are giving direct values will be allocating a common memory, and they both will be pointing to the same one. But the value which you have assigned through input method, in this case, in case of a float, the value won't be given into the same location, or this will be given a separate memory location. Through a diagram we can understand this. Say we have three variable A, B and C, and all the three variable A, B and C are float, and what we are doing is, to A and C we are giving the value 12.7 and they are being given directly. whereas B is also having the same value 12.7, but the value given to 12.7 is through input function. So what is the story? When the value 12.7, which is directly given to A and C, the memory will be reserved, and both A and C will point to the same location. Whereas when with the same value 12.7 is given to B through input method, a separate memory will be allocated for that 12.7 and B would be pointing to that particular location. And how can we prove that? You can prove that by using the identity operator. Now if I say A is C, as we have discussed that identity operator only gives us true if both the variable are having same value as well as they both are pointing to the same memory location. In this case, when we will compare A and C, we will find that the result will be true. But when we will compare A with B or C with B, in both the cases the output will be false, because the value given to the B variable is basically given through input function, and that's why it has been allocated a different location. This can also be checked through ID function, although the is operator is also giving us false. And in case when you will check the ID of A, B and C also, you will find that A and B will be having the same location, sorry, A and C will be having the same location, where the ID of B will be different. So we have understood that. In the case of integer and boolean, whether you are assigning the value directly or through input function, the memory allocation will be same. But in case of string and float, if you are assigning the value directly, the value will be, the location will be same, means all the variable having similar value given directly will be pointing to the same location. But if the same value is given through input function, that will be allocated to a different location. And that's why when we will compare the two different variable which have been given values through different method like directly and through input function, you will find false as the result. Whereas when we are comparing two variable which have been given value directly, the identity operator will give us true. Only in case of string and float, not in case of int and boolean. Int and boolean will behave in the same way whether we are giving directly or through input function. But in case of string and float, if the value are being given through input function, it won't be onto the same location, it will be given some different location, and that's why in that case the identity operator is going to give us false instead of true. Let's check all this concepts which we have discussed till now about the identity operator through a program. Let's create a Python file. Identity is the name of the file. Let's check this. Let's start with an integer. Say int a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 10. And if I print a is b, what should be the answer? Answer should be true, because both are having same value. And in case of integer, and although we have directly assigned the value, so definitely they are going to give us the true result, because both are present on the same location as well as same value. So the result is true. If you check the result is true. Now let's do one thing. Let's print the ID also, ID of A and B, to check whether the address of both A and B are same or not. So if along with the program, if we also display the ID, you will find that when the value, same value are being assigned to two different variable of integer type, they both are sharing the same location. You can check this also. Now what we are going to create a third variable, and in this case what we are going to do is we are going to assign the value through input function. So in this case we are going to assign the same value to check the identity operator, and we will first check A with C, and we will also check, let's check this with B as well as so. And for time being, let's comment this. We don't want to check the ID, we just want to check the result of this comparison, whether A is C and B is C. That means both are same value as well as same memory location. So let's run the program, enter the number. Say this time we are only going to enter the same value. Now please check, in both the cases it's giving true, means A is C, yes true, as well as B is C, it's true. As I have said that in case of integer and boolean, doesn't matter whether you are giving the value directly or through input function. In both the cases they will be given the same memory location, and to check that we can even check their memory location. For that, just print the ID of C also, and let's run the program. Enter the number. Let's again enter the same number. Please check, all the three has been given the same memory location, A, B and C, and the identity operator is also giving us true. Now let's check the float values. Say 12.5 and 12.5, both A and B are having same value. For time being, let's comment this. We'll check this afterward, and let's just comment all this. And now let's check, let's comment this also. We have to check A and B. So when we are comparing two float variables whom we have assigned the value directly and the value are same, so in this case the identity operator, as we have discussed, that when we are directly assigning the value, the memory allocation of both the variable would be same, and that's why this is operator is going to give us true. So let's check this. This is true, correct? Now what we are going to do is, now this time we are going to use the same number or same value of float type, but only difference will be, this time we are going to enter the value through input function. Value what we are going to enter will be same, that is 12.5. We are not going to change the value, and let's check that with A. Let's run the program. Enter the number 12.5. See, it's false. Why it's coming false? We have already discussed that when we enter a float value through an input function, although the value is same, the memory allocation will be different. And for this, let's check the ID of all three. When we'll check the ID, we'll find that the value which we have given directly, that is A and B, their address will be same, whereas the same value which has been given to C, that is 12.5, but only given through input function, the address will be different. And for that, just run the program again. Say 12.5, same value. Now please check, the first two variable A and B are having the same memory location whom we are giving the direct value directly, but when we are giving the same value 12.5 through input function, the memory allocation is done somewhere else, and that case applies to the string also. So let's check string also. Say we will take ABC as the sample value, same value on B, ABC, and what we are going to enter the string value to C through input function. But before, first only check, let's comment all this, and let's only check the A and B. Okay, let's run the program. See, the answer is coming true, because what we have done is A and B, and we have assigned the same value, and the values are directly assigned. So in this case, both the A and B variable will have the same address as well as same value. And to check the address, you can check this. If I print the ID of A and B and rerun the program, you will find that both A and B are given the same memory address. But let's try the third statement, where we are giving the same, we will be giving the same value ABC, but the only difference will be, instead of number, enter a text. Only difference will be, we are going to use the input function, and in that case what should happen, the address given to C will be different than A and B, and when we'll compare this C with A or B, we'll find that the result will be false. Let's run this program and check. Let's enter the same text A, B and C. Please check, the answer given is false, and if you check the address also, the first two variable A and B whom you are giving direct values are having the same address, but the value which you are giving through input function, that is the address of C, is different. So in case of float and string, the values given directly will be sharing the same memory location, where the values which are given through input function will have the different location. So this is the story of identity operator. So that's all for this video. In this video, we have discussed membership operator, which is used to check whether a value is part of a larger set or collection or not. and the operator is in and not in, whereas identity operator is the operator which is used to check the equality of two variable, and this gives equality only not on the basis of value but also the memory location. It checks both value as well as memory location. If two variables share the same value and same memory location, then only the identity operator gives true as the result, otherwise false. And we have discussed this identity operator with different data type, and the behavior on different data types are different, and that's also have been discussed in great detail. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Please give your valuable feedback after watching the video in the comment section. Thank you.